Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast with your hosts, Akainu Fanboy and Geboss. And today we are going to be reviewing One Piece, Chapter 1058, New Emperors. So we are continuing the emotionalist excursion from Jerma 66. Take me with you. Get me out of here, Caesar says. So we get a continuation here. What I do find interesting, just kind of a little note Oda tends to do with the siblings, is that every time kind of like the Vinsmokes get attacked very harshly, you always see the younger brothers, Niji and Yonji, more hurt than like Reiju and Ichiji. And you kind of saw that when Big Mom did her like Conqueror hockey scream and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Those two were like in a lot more pain than the older siblings. So you kind of just see that displayed a little bit right here too. Niji seems to be in a lot more pain than the others.
Yeah, well, I think I'm glad that it looks like they're losing against Katakuri and Oven. Because I think you were worried about that last chapter, whether or not like they would just escape with Caesar, but
yeah, I'm wondering with like if he could do a smoke diversion and stuff, and if they're quick enough where they can basically get out of there in time.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm wondering if that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we don't even see Yonji in the cover at all.
No. Yeah, it seems to be too much going on in this. Yeah, so it looks like they've been fighting for a bit, and yeah, it's just continuing on. And I'm honestly super happy because we get crew dynamics going on. Honestly, this is my favorite part of the chapter, even more than the bounties.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It was good to see them all together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite part with Nami yelling at Jinbei, and he thinks that she has Conqueror's hockey.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite gag. But
yeah.
Don't start any new agendas or anything. We already have too many.
No, yeah, it just shows she's more powerful than Sakura. That's all it shows, you know.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But no, yeah, it's good to see. Yeah, how like the crew's just like warning Jinbei, and Jinbei's just kind of like an oblivious guy, and that's gonna probably be the gag. Like, oh, this is like a raging Nami, and you need to be like careful about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow Luffy's just in this cage, you know, out of nowhere. I guess that's a new addition.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get the new bounty posters, and the 9 senior officers are wanted for the following bounties. And I know the other translation had it as commanders, correct?
Yeah, I think so. So
yeah,
especially with people were getting incensed about Chopper being technically a commander.
Oh yeah, that's true. And he's still 1,000 berries, though, even though he's a commander now.
I will say before we get onto the bounties that I'm kind of disappointed that I don't know if it was off-screened or what, but Jinbei we never had like the end of arc celebration, like when a new person joins. We never had that for Jinbei.
Never did the Saki Cup either.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my critiques last chapter with all the Yamato focus. It's like, all the focus, she doesn't get on the crew, and then her whole character just takes away from Jinbei officially joining too. So it just kind of a little irritating on that point, you know? Just really unnecessary there. But yeah, I don't know. I just, all their reactions are pretty hilarious though, to say the least.
Yeah, and it looks like for the lower tier people, that they just got like a 300,000 increase across the board. Like the ones that didn't have big fights. Well, I guess Sanji had a fight, but not Sanji, Frankie. But yeah, like Nami, Chopper, Nami, Brook, Frankie, and Usopp got all just 300,000 across the board. And I was thinking about this. Everyone except Chopper now has a higher bounty than Luffy did at the end of I think after Enies Lobby.
Yes.
Which I think is kind of cool.
I mean, Usopp's at 500 mil. That That was Luffy's bounty not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago.
I mean, Ace is only like 550 million, so
Yeah.
he's almost Ace level.
Yeah. So why do you think it's been elevated so much with him lately?
Well, I think because he had that big increase at Dressrosa, where I think he was at 200,000, because of the defeat of Sugar and everything, and I guess the Navy saw that he was all he was responsible for setting everyone free, so I guess they thought he was powerful. But you look at like Robin, Jinbei, Zoro, and Sanji, they all got really big bounty increases. So I guess they knew that they took down like more higher ranked officers than like Usopp per se.
Yeah. Right.
And even like Frankie, because he was in the Frankie Shogun, and he has the gag where the Sunny is his bounty poster. So yeah, and then it's a big increase for Robin, because she was like, what, 130 million? She went up 800.
And that makes sense. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think it's because like Cypherpole was told to capture her and she escaped again. So they're like, oh, Luffy definitely has the Nika fruit, and he has someone who can read the poneglyphs. So just increase her bounty up there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were predicting that she would be around that after this.
Yeah, and she took out Black Maria too, which was a good rare moment for her, where she got an opponent and defeated her. And it is cool to just have this little panel just with her and Chopper, because I don't think that's been like developed in a while. I remember that was more of the thing in Eddie's lobby. Water 7. I know they had like one little moment and Punk Hazard, when Jinbei was in his body and he was mocking Chopper's face.
Oh, Frankie, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the anime there was a lot of filler with them too, which was nice to see.
Totally. So, and then we get to the good old commanders here.
Yeah. So what do you think about this new dynamic? Because Jinbei's over Sanji now in terms of bounty.
Right.
And I think a lot of people agree that it's because he's a warlord. He was a former warlord, and he has that clout.
Yeah, he has the clout, and it used to be 400, correct? And so
I think so, yeah.
And Sanji was at 321, I believe, or
I thought it was 3. I don't know. It was 3 something. It was like 1,000 or 100. It was just over Zoro's.
Yes. So he was a bit behind with his last bounty. It was it was 330. Yeah. So Jinbei had a little bit of a lead. I think in some ways it doesn't make sense, just because Sanji defeated Queen and Jinbei only defeated Who's Who.
Yeah.
But you could say there's more compounding influence with Jinbei, just with the Marineford stuff and the Warlord stuff and everything like that too.
Yeah.
I kind of would have preferred if Jinbei just had a higher one than Zoro too. All that being said,
keep that dynamic.
Yeah, just having Jinbei above Zoro and Sanji, I think would have been funnier if they like both went after him, like pissed off and everything,
Yeah. It's kind of a weird middle point.
Right.
But yeah, the way that I see it now with these, I think like Luffy's in his own category now as an emperor, and this is going to be like the new monster trio type of thing, because they're the only ones on the crew that show like the full like coding of hockey and everything. I mean, they're the only ones besides Usopp that have hockey. So
right, yeah. And who could like fight like the highest level tiers type of guys? And remember, this was the same group up who were surrounding him with Green Bull It wasn't the whole crew. It was just the higher tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Luffy's at 3 billion, and it is kind of crazy to think he has a higher bounty than Blackbeard from what we know at this moment in time.
Well, we'll get to who's higher than Blackbeard at this point.
Yes.
Speaking, just going back to the crew dynamic thing, I remembered what I want to say. I saw a comment that was like, that related back to when Frankie was talking about Pluton to Luffy, back a couple chapters ago or whatever. And I think someone pointed out that it was in real world time, like 6.5 years since Luffy talked to Frankie on panel.
Wow.
Like all the way back in Zoe. So we're both in agreement that we want more of the crew together like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think it was the best part, even though the rest of the chapter is pretty cool too. I just say it, I don't know, just seeing them all talk again was great and super appreciative.
And you end with the classic Zoro and Sanji dynamic.
Yeah, and one thing I was kind of happy Zoro had a higher one, because what I hope by the end of the series is that they both have tied bounties.
Yeah.
You know, just to kind of and then it goes back to the little garden dynamic with the dinosaurs, you know, just kind of like who's all, you know, and I kind of think that'd be cool, you know, to have that dynamic by the end. But yeah, we get to the new Yonko crew with your boy Crocodile. So
my
you
boy.
He got some good gains, but I'll let you take this part since he's your boy.
Well, we see that Crocodile and Mihawk with Buggy, who's all beaten up and being disrespected, and they're kind of mad that he's been labeled as the Emperor rather than I don't know if either one of them would have been considered an emperor, but I guess Buggy had the most influence out of anything, because I think Crocodile mainly works in the shadows, and I don't think his influence is as well known. And then Mihawk's just by himself.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to think if there's anything else on this page to comment on. And then we see Mr. 3 sucking up to Crocodile again. And we get to see Mr. 1 again, and even Buggy's own crew is like, yeah, we'll just follow whoever is the strongest out of these people. But
it is interesting to see how many people they have, from Mr. 1, Mr. 3, and Buggy's whole crew, Crocodile, Mihawk, and then potentially a lot of strong characters that from Impel down too that we haven't been formally introduced to. So it is kind of interesting to see all that at work.
Yeah, and I like how it's kind of implied with this flashback showing Crocodile bringing up the idea to Mihawk, which we kind of assumed that this whole idea was Crocodile's. But he it just seems like Hawkeye can't be bothered. Like he just says they just surrounded the whole island. I need to just move somewhere else, even though it's a pain. But it seems like even though the this whole idea is Crocodile's, it seems like Mihawk had a prior reputation as the Viz translated as the naval hunter, which is it's an interesting parallel because Zoro's called the pirate hunter.
Yes,
and so he, I guess, just in the past he just had. The way that I see it, or could be read into his character, he was just fighting the Navy to look for strong opponents, going after them that way.
Right. Yeah. I think that's similar to Zoro. He'd go after the pirates, to find strong opponents. Well, I think with Mihawk, he kind of fought one of the strongest people, which was Shanks. Like
Yeah.
he got to that point where that was the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's kind of stupid and a little bit of a plot hole where the Navy wouldn't at least send one admiral if they're serious about catching Mihawk. So I thought that was a little bit of a plot hole there. Maybe they couldn't get anyone there in time and they wanted to stall him. Maybe you could say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of thought that was a little interesting. And then I think it makes sense here. And it kind of talks about Buggy's good fortune where he's being rescued by Crocodile,
Mm-hmm.
which is great.
Yeah, but going back to that, was Fujitora going to Amazon Lily? Or was
They
it?
were,
Was
they
it
were
not
in the
made-
calm belt.
Okay, it wasn't made
Yeah.
clear exactly where they were going.
No, it was heavily. That was like one interpretation. I think the only hard confirmation we got was Kobe and going after to Amazon Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing too, is we don't know what happened to Boa or
Mhm.
Weevil at this point in time.
That's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if Weevil joins Buggy's crew.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Which would then make them insanely powerful potentially. You know?
Especially well, we see that Crocodile just took out all the Navy ships that were attacking Buggy, which is a feat. It's a feat on its own. I mean, it depends on the caliber of Marines, but just looking at his sand, it might be just my fanboyism for Crocodile, but it looks like he has like hockey in his sand now.
Yeah.
Which, like, if that's the case, he definitely earns the bounty that he has later on in the chapter.
No, yeah, that's definitely pretty broken, and we haven't seen him in forever, but I think this is also more proof in accordance with his bounty that Oda does not like throwing away the old villains. He likes keeping them around, which gives me a lot of hope because I'm more of a Lucci stan, that Lucci's going to be, like, pretty insane by the end, if I had to guess, and probably Sabo's opponent, if I had to guess, too. Because he doesn't just throw away these characters. He keeps them around and, if anything, gives them a huge power-up,
Yeah.
We're just waiting for a Nell at this point.
Exactly. He's going to come down from on high.
Enjoying Buggy's crew, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly, I can see that happening. That's definitely in the cards, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyways, the poster design was pretty excellent. I do like the poster. It's cool. And then, what you think of Mihawk and Croc's bounties, though?
Okay. So I know we're talking with Jimper a little bit, and I think even you said that Crocodile's bounty was way too high at 1.9 billion berries. I don't think so. I think, especially if he has like hockey with his Logia powers now, I think it's right because he's not. It's not over the 2 billion mark, but I would say he's definitely more of a threat than like King or Queen would be, like by himself.
Sure. I think that's fair. I know a lot of people put Crocodile in kind of like the commander area.
Yeah. But
I don't think it's outrageous to say he could beat Queen and King in a fight.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at like you go back to Marineford, and he was instrumental in everything, and he was just kind of his own faction. He was just kind of doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He only joined up to do Whitebeard, to help Whitebeard and everything, because he didn't want the Navy getting their way. So I just think on the merit of that, the Navy, because it's all the bounties are all how dangerous they would be. How dangerous they are to the Navy.
Yeah.
So I think that's worth it. Him being up there.
And it parallels the Navy Hunter with Crocodile not wanting the Navy to have their way too.
Yeah.
You have that aspect too.
That's true. But I also was thinking, like, what would Doflamingo's be if his wasn't frozen? Because his was already, like, probably, like, 3 or 4 times more than Crocodile's at this point.
Yeah, I would say maybe 2 bills or maybe high 2 bills, right below 3 because of the information he has with the Celestials. Who knows? Maybe in some ways it could be more than Mihawk, considering what kind of information it is too.
Plus, he can, like, literally, like, enslave countries just with his power.
Yeah, and he has a lot of connections, but it kind of looks like Crocodile's going to be the new Doflamingo, it seems, you know?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And then we get Mihawk's, which is 3.5 billion. And I mean, I think we kind of guessed that it would be around that much. Well, that's how I kind of factored it in, because it's what, 500,000 less than Shanks's?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And that's insane because he doesn't even have a crew or anything. It's just him.
So I would push back slightly in the sense he does have a crew, like he's on a crew. You know, like he doesn't like control territory like all the other Yonkos do and everything, but he does have Crocodile, who's Billy, you know, 1.5 Billy. Yeah. And then you have Buggy, who's a Yonko in himself. And Yonkos, and also his crew was so worthy to be considered warlord worthy too, you know.
Well, did he even that's fair. We don't know if this is an adjusted bounty from his original or if they just unfroze it.
I assume it's a combination of both, because when they throw out the new bounties, it's in context with this new poster and this new crew. Because Crocodile's goes up, obviously. So you have 3 former warlords on one crew. Like, kind of think of it that way.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think it's, like, particularly clear or honest, like, to say, or, I mean, sorry, accurate to say, like, he has no crew. He does. He doesn't have territory. He's not the head. But he is a part of a crew with a lot of big names, too. And as a result, they're all, like, one power, you know, looking after each other, you know? So, also, I think if you're a former warlord, too, it's just going to add more into your capital. Also.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about that with Jinbei. But I was saying, like, originally he didn't have a crew, like, before this.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Right. But do you have anything to comment about that former warlord of the sea with greater sword skill than even red-haired the Emperor?
Yeah, I think it's obvious he'd have greater. I mean, so one, Oda wants to like get a fight going between the two, and that's when he's.
This is just a troll.
2, I think it is interesting that. Okay, this is gonna upset, but it does. Further, kind of, you were pointing this out too. Luffy's in his own category as himself, away from Zoro and all the others, you know. And I think with Shanks. It kind of emphasizes that with Mihawk a bit too, because Mihawk wasn't anywhere near Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, or Shanks. You know, in terms of bounty, and I think that's kind of interesting. You can say, "Oh, well, he doesn't have a crew," and blah 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 blah, but he kind of does. Sure, he doesn't have his own framework, but at the same time, kind of that's what I think makes some difference. A difference there is that they're leaders, and Mihawk isn't. You know, and as a result, if you're not a leader, you're not going to be as powerful either. You know, because that kind of helps define like what kind of conqueror are you too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just by the fact that that Mihawk. It's only stated that his sword skill is greater than Shanks's. And, I mean, I think we kind of knew that, but people were debating. They've had this thing with Shanks versus Mihawk for the longest time, like who's stronger, because they used to spar with each other equally. Yeah. And I think that he's saying that in a sword fight, Mihawk would win. But you look at everything else that Shanks has. Like, he has that, like, with Green Bull, he just, Conqueror's Hockey sniped him from, like, how many miles away. Like, he has some insane other stuff that, like, I mean, Mihawk has Hockey, but, or, yeah, he must have Hockey, because he infused his sword to be black.
Yeah, he has Hockey, but it still wasn't strong enough to beat Jozu Marineford too. So we have to add in that detail also. So
So, we don't talk about that. But yeah,
I'm just saying there's counters.
Yeah,
to being a strong swordsman is part of what I'm saying. Yeah. You know.
Well, it goes back to what Mr. One said about after Zoro learned to cut steel, what are you going to learn next? To cut diamonds? So
you're right.
But anyway,
yeah.
Do you have anything else to add about Mihawk?
No, I mean that's about it. It's cool to see. It's crazy to see Buggy as a higher bounty than Luffy at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that he has Mihawk and Crocodile, but like Luffy literally was instrumental in taking down 2 of the previous Yonko. How is he not higher than Buggy?
I mean, I think Luffy should be higher than Mihawk at this point too. Just with his fruit too.
Yeah, the
and
fruit
all the stuff he's done.
Yeah. I mean,
I think there's like seniority. I think there's a part of a bias in that system, you know.
That's true. But I mean, you look at the fact that like when they were listing all the stuff of Luffy's, like he leads like a 5,600 member fleet, and like I don't think that. Do you think that Buggy has those numbers?
I think it's possible at this point. Yeah, just having this huge mercenary group, you know, and maybe Crocodile has brought guys, and maybe Mihawk brought his monkeys.
Yeah. Oh, that would be hilarious. If just all the monkeys came with Mihawk. That's his official crew.
It is like literally like a circus.
Don't
look at Buggy's army, you know.
Don't let Zoro know. He's racist enough.
Yeah. This isn't good. Yeah. But yeah. So,
and then
this is all.
Yeah, and then
you go.
Oh, I was gonna say it's interesting that Mihawk was the one to like. Let's just put Buggy out as the figurehead of all this.
Right.
I would assume that to be like Crocodile's idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. He's like the figure, and you know, I think both of them like to just kind of be under the radar, you know, for various reasons, you know. And you know, if they go attack him rather than them, then it kind of helps them more, you know, with their reputations and all that, and their goals. True. But yeah, so we get to see the trash revolutionaries again, which is
power scalers be like, look at the commanders. Look at Morley and Karasu and Lindbergh. They don't have any bandages on them. Fujitora had bandages.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That means they got away clean. With Kuma, that's a major L for the admirals.
Oh my gosh.
Just to be fair, it's been like a week, and we've seen how stuff heals.
Yeah.
In that time. So.
Yeah. It's been a bit. I don't know how that fight broke down, but I mean, come on. Let's just be real. Okay. Morley's not taking down Green Bull. Let's just...
I mean, to be fair, I think Morley has a good devil fruit for, like, escape. Same with Karasu. Like, with the crows and everything. Lindbergh can just... He's useless. All he has is, like, steampunk guns.
And we don't know if Kuma just teleported them out or not.
That's true.
And it is interesting to see the hype they kind of put around Sabo, the Flame Emperor, you know? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. And then, and then Kuma is with Dragon, too.
Yeah.
Right now.
I mean,
so
what do you think of about Dragon being upset if Sabo killed Cobra?
Um,
Because I thought that was an interesting little detail in there.
It's so weird. It's just like, of course he hasn't done that, you know? Right? Like,
I mean, he grew up with Dragon, so
you know. I mean, unless like there's like some alter ego with Sabo we haven't seen, but I mean, I just think Sabo's with Vivi right now, if I had to guess. And who knows? Maybe they'll run into the Straw Hats soon, you know, in the near future. I think that's a possibility also. It is weird, like how he's just kind of gotten this name over a matter of weeks, the Flame Emperor and everything, you know. So
yeah.
Kind of fascinating in this sense, yeah. With that,
do you think it's Big News Morgan's doing it, spreading propaganda?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, because of the big clash of the Reverie and all this stuff. Now, I think like next chapter, what we're probably going to see is either Vivi, Sabo, hopefully, what happened to Boa, because like those three are kind of spoken in the same sentence usually. What happened to Vivi? What happened to Sabo? What happened to Boa? So,
yeah.
And then we have to see what happens to Weevil. So those are kind of what's up, and maybe we'll see like some Marine promotions potentially with Kobe if he's the one that caught Boa too.
You're
and I think the chances. I'm just saying it's more likely now. I'm just saying.
We'll see about that, but one thing I did want to bring up toward the end of the chapter is that unless they reprogrammed Kuma, it seems like, wasn't it that Kuma would only answer to the Celestial Dragons?
Yes.
So unless they reprogrammed him, which I think they would be able to do with Vegapunk. Like, Dragon told him to tell him what he saw, and he answered as you command. So, I mean,
yeah,
there's been the theory floating around that Dragon has something to do with the Celestial Dragons, whether or not, like, Luffy's mother is a Celestial Dragon, or he is, or something.
Question is, how did they get Kuma to like obey to get him out of there?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably have to be whoever Luffy's mother is, because we know Garp, we know he has nothing to do with the Celestial Dragons. He hates them.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It is interesting. Yeah, with Kuma, he's still kind of an enigma in this series.
Yeah, I mean, if they get Kuma back up and on the revolutionary side, I think that's a big boon for them. Because, I mean, we kind of shit on them with, like, they don't have as impressive a manpower as the other factions. Like, they have Eva, and they have Dragon and Kuma and Sabo, but that's really about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about the others, you know. Yeah. But we don't need to. But
yeah, but I think so. I think next chapter we might see like where potentially the Straw Hats are going, or that would be my big thing. I want to see where their next destination is, whether or not Oda's just gonna skip over Elbaf or not.
Oof.
Or if Big Mom's gonna show up at Elbaf.
Where's Big Mom?
On the shores with amnesia.
Yeah. No. No. Please, Oda, stop. It has been quite a few chapters, and we still don't know what happened to Kaido Big Mom.
I mean, I think during the big Komurasaki speech thing, it looks like that she they were saying like Kaido was felt a final blow or whatever. So
yeah,
who knows? It's very ambiguous. It's like Jet in Avatar. It's really unclear what happened.
Gotcha. Yeah, good reference there. But yeah. Anyways, like the video, subscribe, and do all that jazz, and we will see you all next week. Great audience.
See ya.